Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album since today is the album's 25th anniversary. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be looking into Pure Holocaust by the almighty Immortal, the band's second album released on November 1st, 1993 through Osmose Productions. Now, Immortal probably doesn't need an introduction. One of the big names in the Norwegian black metal scene, along with like Emperor and shit. And Immortal for me is pretty much one of those bands that really got me into a lot more black metal than what I liked before, because mostly what I was listening to was a lot of thrash and death metal. Well, but I feel like Immortal is sort of like the gateway bands, along with like Emperor, Dimmu Borgir, Cradle of Filth, Satyricon, all that good shit. Um, like I said, this is of course the band's second album, the follow-up to their debut album, which was released 2 years prior, called Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism. And compared to that to Pure Holocaust, I feel like there's a bit of an evolution within those albums. Mostly the production is just superb, just typical black metal. And the guitar work and the style is played in the heart that is let me start over. The guitar work and the style it's played in are very hard to describe, being something that is like fast played, chaotic white noise with sort of like an echoing tremolo sound with a hint of a little bit of a melodic element. And it pretty much has the riffs on here are pretty much the coldest I've ever heard, and it's the truly alien and great. The drumming on this sort of like alternate between chaotic and epic and frequently lost blast beats, not mainly for sort of like the noise and shock effect like they usually do these days, but rather add to sort of like the suffocating blizzard this album represents, instead of taking away from it. And the fast bass lines are pretty deep, featuring effect, which is just wow. And the vocals on here from Abbott, like compared to the first album to now, I feel like he still has his raspy vocals, but he doesn't sound like, the only way I could describe it, he sounds like a demonic Popeye. It has a bit more cold and withered than sort of like in his later works, and what he sounds is sort of like a faint echo. That's pretty much how I could describe the Abbath's vocals compared to the first album and sort of like later on and stuff. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this track by track. Album opens up with Unsilent Storms in the North Abyss. This, which is as chaotic as a blizzard, blast beat drums, dark bass, and freezing atonal guitar shifts rapidly to warp speed and pandemonium, reminding that this is not a primitive nor minimalistic album, but a rather complex and epic one. A sign for the Norse hordes to ride. It sort of like begins with a barrage of blast beats, noisy riffs, and driving bass, only to switch gears in an epic tremolo sound and right back and forth between sort of like the frenzied epic chaos and some remote semblance of sanity. The song no longer rides. This is a chilling concept, and the song fulfills it. It begins with sort of like a lambasting of cold riffing, thunderous blast beats, and then it slows down to a song that's slow, dark, and outright creepy sounding. And the lyrics mix between evil within the description of sort of like the inhospitable environment, with lines like "I believe in tragedies" and desecration. And I almost feel like I traveled to like the polar circle after listening to this one. Frozen by Ice Winds continues with the frostbitten cold riffs that are almost melodic, the insane drumming, and sort of like the deep bass as it describes the complex chaos, what sounds like a lonesome schizophrenic soul committing suicide by freezing to death. Storming through the red clouds and Holocaust winds begins with what sounds like a completely alien and bizarre solo, except for the fact that the drums and bass do not relent. In the song, it's quite extreme and absolutely relentless, as is the environment I imagine it was written in. And sort of like the harshness only adds to sort of like the militant barbarian nature. The fast picking, the historic and maniacal drumming on here is in the song makes me wonder if they are really supernaturally evil barbarians. Wow. Next up we get to Eternal Years on the Path to the Cemetery Gate, which isn't a slow song, but it's not a fast one. It's more a medium paced, but it's still full of fast guitars and drum beats. And as usual, Immortal delivers with fast and cold riffs and suddenly chaotic shifts as they sort of like describe the supernatural return from the undead. As the Eternity opens, which in my opinion is the best song on here. It's a masterpiece. It's a slower song in the vein of the song No Longer Rises, and it's just as creepy, if not even more so. The guitars are more bleak than icy, the bass mournful and deep, and the drums leading into a funeral march while using blast beats to accentuate the evil and grim nature of the song. And the vocals on here are supernatural, and they are very well sung and occasionally screamed in terror as they communicate how the nihilistic extinction and death and sort of like light will disappear. It was never for here, and synthetic keyboard effects are sort of like used briefly towards the end of the song, probably around 4 minutes 45 seconds, but it's haunting use of them that's come unexpectedly and goes straight to subconsciousness. And then the album closes with the title track, Pure Holocaust, which is more epic in nature. It begins with a blizzard of ghostly riffs and blast beats that grow louder and louder. And as the song returns to sort of like the medium pace with sort of like great riff where it abruptly goes to like the blizzard part again. And the song is something of a narrative describing the fantasy of dark militant armies of black unholy demons, thousands of deaths, and the Holocaust between chaotic and melodic and epic sounding riffs and suffocating blast beats. Now, overall, Pure Holocaust is a great album. Probably one of the best in the black metal genre. If I were to give this a score, I'd probably give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. And then if you want an album that's cold, harsh, and dark as the Polar Circle, and this is a sort of a must-have in the genre. It's just grim and it's not minimalistic. But yeah, that's my review of Pure Holocaust by Immortal, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. And I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.